clearing away the wreckage of the past. Set me free. Let's talk about it. So, have you ever heard the phrase, the term, spring cleaning? Spring cleaning, you could say, is an ancient tradition. Its roots are from hundreds of years ago, and when the weather warmed up in the spring, people would open up the windows in their hut, their house, and because of the, let's call it, heating devices they used, a wood stove or a fire stove, over the winter, there was a collection of grime and dust and dirt that accumulated in the house. And so spring cleaning meant it's time to open up the windows and clear away the dirt, the grime, the dust. Excuse me. In modern societies, so let's put it into this context, modern societies versus third world countries. In third world countries, they live a simple life. They have a hut or a small home. There's a type of stove in there, probably wood, possibly coal. There's no running water. There's no electricity. They travel somewhere to the other side of the village to get water, and in some cases, they travel miles to a well to get their water. In the case of a wood stove, they travel and collect wood. They're not burdened like we are in modern society, in modern cities, towns, and villages. In fact, and I used to be that way, people that live in a modern society look down on the way people live in third world countries. How could you live like that? And the emphasis is what I just said a little bit ago. Really, they are less burdened. How is that? You see, we have indoor plumbing, we have indoor electricity, and we have all these appliances. I'm calling it modern society living, okay? We have a home with all these appliances, electricity and plumbing. How often does the electricity go out where you live? Have you had to repair your plumbing, a pipe burst in the basement or somewhere else. In third world countries, they make their food fresh, like farmers in this country used to do, and people used to do. Fresh eggs, fresh milk, fresh chicken. So we need to go to a supermarket. Chances are it's at such a distance, you need to travel there by a vehicle. Let's just talk about a vehicle. To go to work, to go get food, merchandise for your home. If you need a car, you need a job to pay for it. You have the price of a car, and then there's all these extra fees, plus taxes, and now you need insurance on that vehicle. And you may not be aware of it when you buy it, but there are maintenance costs, and then there are things that could go wrong. In your home, you may have to replace the windows at some point. You may have to replace the heat source, whether it's a coal furnace or an oil furnace. You pay for the coal and the oil to be delivered. You may need new rugs at some point. Instead of a 2-inch mattress like they sleep on in third world countries, we have mattresses and box springs, and if you watch the commercials, you need this type. And this type mattress and box spring is usually $1,000. And if you don't have a vehicle, a truck or a van to go get it, you need to have it delivered, and you won't get it delivered for free all the time. You need to pay for that. Burdens. In modern society, all these appliances, this technology turns out to be a burden. Burdened people are anxious people. Okay? And then something else happens with this technology available to us. Mostly every home in the United States has television, has a computer. And then people get in the habit of spending a lot of time watching a television, spend a lot of time on social media on the computer, and then with the computer comes more burdens. Access to pornography. On the television, people use that to play video games. People, not just kids, people. And then they get into, listen how I'm going to say this, and then they get into overusing television, the computer, video games, pornography, social media. You could say addiction. And then this becomes a burden. And not just to the person that's addicted to it or spends a lot of time on these devices. That affects relationships. You see? I watch a lot of documentaries, travel vlogs, and I'm always amazed. And I'm sure this isn't totally what I'm about to say isn't an exact representation of third world countries, towns, and villages. And people living that simple life that I described, they don't have indoor plumbing, they don't have indoor electricity, how they need to get coal or wood, food, eggs they go and get and fetch every day, chickens, killing the chickens or other sources of food, rabbits, deer, and such. Those people are typically happy people. They don't carry the burdens that we carry in third world countries. From third world countries compared to modern societies, they don't have those burdens. So, advertising, commercials, these types of things put ideas in people's heads. Over the decades, I know people that would watch a commercial. Do you have these symptoms? You need to see your doctor because you might have this. Okay? When was the last time you checked your roof for leaks? Is your plumbing okay? Is your plumbing up to date? Is your electricity up to date? It could start a fire if there's an issue. Burdens. People addicted to video games, pornography, social media, alcohol, drugs, overeating. That's a burden. And it affects relationships. It affects how they function. You could go as far to say it affects how a community functions. Well, Johan, what does this have to do with clearing away the wreckage of the past? You see, we have all these distractions and burdens in modern society. We can be easily addicted to a lot of the things that I described. It interferes with relationships. We're definitely more neurotic. We're definitely more anxious. We are definitely stressed out. A lot of what I described leads to irresponsibility. It affects relationships. And so when we come to the table of we've had enough and we're looking for answers, there's a lot to uncover. In fact, a lot of discretions that we accused other people of, we've done the same thing, and we hide it. We've hide it. I made videos titled "Everybody Has Something to Hide." Everybody. The difference is some people hide it better. And it's not that what they're hiding is nefarious or a crime. People hide things that they're ashamed of, they feel guilty about. But they exist on a daily basis to point out the flaws and inconsistencies of other people. Well, who really wants to look at themselves and do that deep self-searching? Who wants to admit, I have some flaws? Who wants to admit, I was wrong? You see? So, decades of burdens. And when we come to the table, when we reach that point of something has to change, there's a lot of baggage. You could say that through those 12 steps, I set myself free. The only freedom, really, that I experienced was freedom from the ego. I'm better than other people. Really, I'm probably worse than the people I accuse. I just hide it. And so I did the self-searching. To clear away the wreckage of the past is no different than spring cleaning. To open up the doors of the mind, open up all the windows and go through every room in the mind to clear away the dirt, the grime, the dust. Decades of accumulation, of burdens. Self-righteous anger, playing the victim, hiding things. It's not an easy task. It's not about, if I do these things, people will forgive me and people will be more accepting of me. It doesn't always end up that way. In fact, when you change, when you transform, when you ascend, when you transcend, people just might hate you more. You see? But it's not about them. And if you have a grievance with those people, through those 12 steps, you address it. You set things right. It does not matter what they did to you. Again, Everybody has something to hide. Everybody. Okay? But this is about you. This is about your spring cleaning. Okay? When I say I was set free from the ego, and I mentioned this in a video the other day, that I escape the ego on a daily basis with spiritual practices. And no, I don't sit in silence all day. I don't pray all day. I don't do mantras all day. When I say I became free from the ego, clearing up the wreckage of the past, okay? Escaping the ego, being free from the ego means I've transcended and became non-judgmental. Through those 12 steps, I identified flaws in my character. I was judgmental. I was sanctimonious. I was self-righteous. The same people, the people that I was accusing of having character flaws, I had the same ones. But I was delusional about it. I learned I was carrying a lot of burden. I learned that even though there were times I tried to do the next right thing, I got distracted, influenced, and manipulated by people, places, and things. Not healthy. Not healthy. So I'm free of the old self that was judgmental, biased, prejudiced, sanctimonious, self-righteous, dishonest. It doesn't make me better than anyone else. I was sick. I was spiritually sick. And a lot of the events and experiences I mentioned right from the start of this video, these distractions, these burdens, these addictions, complicated, let's put it this way, a sickly personality and character. Spring cleaning.